The Marine Toys for Tots foster care program is bringing hope to children who need it most. Every 2 minutes, a child enters foster care, often with only a small bag of belongings. More than 400,000 children face trauma and uncertainty, many before age 8. This May, during Foster Care Awareness Month, Toys for Tots is creating Room for Joy. In 2025, nearly 375,000 children received comfort through toys, books, and essentials, reminding them they are not alone. Donate now and change a child's life.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Joining us now on for the very latest with Iran, and boy, there are a lot of layers, and also talk of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Kuwait, and China. KT, can you make sense of where this is headed? Because there's reports that the White House expects they might hear at least back from Iran today. What do you think?
There are a couple of things. Whatever the agreement is, and the reports are there are 14 points, and essentially it's a terrific agreement. It stops Iran's nuclear program. The point is, though, unless we have the ability to inspect it and to enforce it, it's not worth the paper it's written on. Iran says an awful lot of stuff. And if they do agree to this, and that's an if, then we need to make sure that there are two parts to this. One, that we have what are called snap inspections. We have the right to go anywhere, anytime, any place with no warning and check out what we think is a violation of the agreement. And then the second part of it is, if they do violate, then we have to have them resume some kind of military operation, let's say, for example, to bomb what we think is a site.
What do you say, KT, to people who really have a problem with, like, even allowing them to have any sort of nuclear enrichment, who go, well, that's sort of what was there before and didn't work?
Well, if the agreement that they're talking about is true, they're not allowed to have any enrichment. There's a moratorium on it. Whatever they have has to be shipped out of the country. So there is a moratorium, 20-year moratorium, and 20 years is a long time. I think that there are a couple of things. The people who say, well, we can't trust them. No, of course we can't trust them. But that means we need the ability to enforce it, and that means we need the ability to take military action. So keeping some a significant American presence in the region, and then working with other countries like Israel, like the UAE, like Saudi Arabia, to help us enforce it. But the people who say, well, we have to have regime change, that makes me really nervous, because we're not good at regime change. We've never been good at regime change, whether it was Vietnam or whether it was Afghanistan or Iran or Iraq. We've not had regime change that we've ever succeeded in. So to topple the regime, what comes next? We don't want it to be us to come next. Now, if the regime is sufficiently weakened, which we hope it is, that the Iranian people or some element within the Revolutionary Guard or the civilian leadership then changes their mind and has either different leadership or the same leadership with a changed attitude, that would be pretty good for us.
What do you say, KT McFarland, about Saudi Arabia? This has been interesting that Saudi, apparently, according to a lot of reports, said you can't use our air bases and airspace for this, Project Freedom, which was allowing transport of other ships through. And that is what sort of is causing President Trump to say, well, maybe we're going to go back to doing it, now that they've allowed it. Like there's been some backdoor stuff, and also, Kuwait and Qatar were upset that they weren't told about certain things. How do you read these elements there? Because they're allies of ours.
Yeah, I'm not terribly concerned with it. I mean, if the Saudis said, you can't use our bases, we're mad at you because you didn't let us know, well, guess what we've just done? I mean, apparently 20 minutes ago, we've just bombed some of the sites in Iran, not significant ones, but to answer what the Saudis are doing, I think that it's a good idea to stop Project Freedom, not forever, but for about the next 72 hours for the following reason. We want to have a good summit with China. And we don't want to have some incident that could blow up in everybody's face and then potentially even cancel that summit meeting. The Chinese need that summit meeting a whole lot more than we do, but we need it too. And I have a feeling that, especially since the Iranian foreign minister was just in meeting with the Chinese foreign minister in Beijing. I mean, the seat is hardly cold before our guys are showing up. I think that we're going to say, yeah.
I did an interview with Forbes today, worldwide, and I said to them that I think if President Trump is going to go see to China, that there's a deal that they could both shake hands on with Iran, and that was just my gut feeling.
Your gut feeling is 100% right. I think that Trump and Xi Jinping are going to sit down and say, okay, we're the adults in the room. Let's figure out a way to end this. And that the Chinese are going to then pressure the Iranians to stop. China doesn't care about Iran's nukes. They care about getting Iran's oil, and they care about the strait being opened and the blockade being dropped, because it's not just the Iranian oil. It's the Iraqi oil. It's the Saudi, United Arab Emirates. All that oil goes to China. And that's something like 40% of China's imported oil. And that's about 10% of its overall energy needs. China can't survive for long without feeling enormous pressure on its manufacturing if the strait stays closed.
And
so I think the Chinese are going to say, John, you are 100% right. You got it. Your gut was good.
Well, let's see what happens now. I mean, we'll know next week. And the other thing is, I missed it on why is Saudi Arabia pulling that tactic on us?
And the report is, and again, these are all unconfirmed reports by people that won't give their names, so who knows what they're worth. But that the Saudis
so in other words, it might not be true.
A, it might not be true.
Okay.
And B, it may be, somebody's, I mean, I think to me, the better reason to stop Project Free, we made the point. We've got destroyers that have gone through the strait. We've taken American flag vessels. Whether we take another 5 or 6 in the next 2 days, it's not going to make a whole lot of difference with the oil in the global market. But what it will do is prevent a crisis from happening that blows up in the face of a U.S.-China summit. We need that summit because I think Trump will sit down and say, no nukes. China, you push the Iranians to get us no nukes, and then we will open the strait, and then you can have the world is a happier place.
So, KT, what's your prediction for sort of the next 24, 48 hours? I'm just sort of curious because there seems to be, like, we're hearing mixed messages also on the, Project Freedom. Like, on one hand, it was up, then it stopped, whether it was for the Saudi or not. And also, where do you see discussions? I mean, Trump, on one hand, he was telling our friend Brett Baer, both of our friends, that he was saying by the end of the week. That it's Thursday, so there's not a lot of time.
Got 48 hours left. I think that the Iranians are going to come back. My guess is that they'll either say no or they'll say yes, but they won't be able to carry it out because I think the bigger problem is nobody in Iran knows who's in charge. And that the foreign minister and the speaker of the parliament, they seem to be willing to do a deal, or at least say they're willing to do a deal. It's the IRGC, the military guys, who don't want to do the deal. So what kind of a deal can you have? Again, you have to have one that's verifiable, and you have to have one that we can enforce.
Yeah, that is the bottom line. Ed Cox.
And KT, but to have a real deal, there's got to be one more big kinetic action on the part of the United States and maybe UAE and some others in order to make. I'm analogizing to the December bombing in 1972.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right. That Iran is going to, I don't think they've quite gotten the message yet. They haven't really accepted the fact that they've lost this war. And maybe what it takes is another big, bombing or some kind of kinetic action. I don't think President Trump wants to destroy their oil infrastructure because that's what's going to pay for the rebuilding of Iran once the war is over. But I do think he has military targets that are still available. And we have twice as many assets now to put against Iran than we did 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Judge Weinberg.
KT, forgive me for being a skeptic again, 2 days in a row, but rebuild what?
He's consistent, right?
Rebuild what? Are they going to rebuild the terrorist networks, their ballistic missile system? What are they going to rebuild? Are they going to start taking care of their people and give them housing and health care? What are they going to rebuild with all the money they make from this oil? Why are we so concerned about them rebuilding as opposed to knocking them in the behinds once and for all that we control the situation dynamic?
Well, I'm assuming that the post-Iran war is a regime that we can work with, either the current regime that's got a very different song that they're singing or a changed regime. But you're right. If it's just the same old, they're just going to go back to spending money on proxies and missiles and nukes. But if there is a different Iran, and maybe this isn't going to happen.
You need a different regime.
We need a different regime, but one that we don't have to run.
And the problem is that even if they surrender, they're surrendering for 6 months, hoping that the Democrats get control of the Senate and the Congress.
And President Trump is not going to be president forever.
And
So you get another Biden in there, another Obama in there?
Listen, guys, you're yelling and screaming for no reason in that. It is, the facts are the facts. Okay? He can only do so much. He can only, he's president till, to 2028. And, let's see what happens.
Let's see.
Day by day.
Let's see. Look, I give him a lot of credit. He's been a heck of a lot more courageous.
There's no other president in the world that has been as tough as him.
Absolutely. Courageous that he did this. And let's pray some good news comes through in the next few days. Let's pray. KT, thank you. We love you. KT, thank you so much.
Thank you, KT.
Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball. Come out to the ballpark this week as the Ferry Hawks welcome in the Charleston Dirty Birds May 5th through the 10th. Grab the kids and come on out. We kick it off on Tuesday, May 5th with Cinco de Baseball with $5 tickets and $5 food and beverage specials. And we end the week as we celebrate all moms on Mother's Day. Moms get in free. Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.